So sorry for not posting a video yesterday. I honestly just totally forgot it was even Saturday yesterday. So today is Saturday's video, but it's actually Sunday here in Japan. So I figured today I'll just do a little basic tips and tricks for living slash sightseeing slash visiting Japan in general. So basically, one of the biggest things to note is that Japan is a very polite and more or less conservative society. Tattoos by Japanese residents are not tolerated. They are associated with the Yakuza. So if you have tattoos and you plan on living here, be prepared to cover them up at all times, especially around children. There was a story that our trainers told us of this guy who had, half sleeves or full sleeves. I don't remember which one, but in America, totally acceptable. In Japan, not so much. He was outside doing something in his yard or whatever, and and this old woman next door or down the street or something like that saw his tattoos because he had his shirt rolled up, and in Japan, if there's a white person living somewhere, they're 99% of the time they're going to be a English teacher, as long as it's not in like a big city or something like that, like Tokyo, Hiroshima, Okayama, Osaka, blah blah blah. Yeah, so basically, white person in Japan, English teacher, or anyone other than Japanese, probably an English teacher. So they called. So the old woman called the company and uh, said, "Oh, do you know that you have a yakuza working for you?" And and the company, I don't know what they said, but basically the end result was that that teacher had to get moved because everyone in that immediate area thought that they were associated with the yakuza. Uh, so yeah, tattoos still not really accepted. Tokyo is a different beast entirely, just because it's Tokyo. Uh, but anyway, so tattoos, be prepared to cover them up. As far as public affection, public displays of affection, if you're bringing a significant other over with you, there really isn't a whole lot of that. Not even really holding hands. Obviously, if you're going to bang your girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other or whoever on the street, not accepted anywhere. Holding hands here and like a slight like peck on the cheek or peck on the lips, not a huge deal. We'll get some stares and whatnot, but it's whatever. I think I can count on my hand the number of times I've seen PDA here in Japan in the month and a half, whatever, since I've been here. So it's very little. Um, do not litter. Also, do not litter. I can count on one hand the amount of times that I've seen trash on the ground, and I have plenty of fingers left over still. Japan is a very clean society, down to the house, the street, the yards, the stores, everywhere. It's extremely clean, which is also really nice because in America, I mean, it's just seeing cigarette butts littered all over the ground. Uh, Used condoms, chip wrappers, gum, you name it, it's probably on the ground somewhere in America. In Japan, everyone here is more or less conditioned to throw their trash away, or if you're going to smoke, then there's like that. Then there's designated smoking areas if you're not in your car, and there are cigarette butt containers, I guess you'd call them, or no, receptacles. Yeah, that's the word, receptacles. Pretty much most people smoke around those, so they can just flick their ash into it, and then once they're done, just toss their butt out. Um, you really don't see a lot of people smoking like in open air in public. There's a lot of people that'll smoke outside the convenies, or they'll smoke in their car. But as far as public places go, there's usually a designated like box type square thing that you have to stand in. Uh, Yeah, but basically the cleanliness partially comes from that's just the way the Japanese people are, and two, which kind of segues into point three or whatever point this is that the Japanese recycle, and not like American recycling. They recycle and sort and separate everything. So plastic bottle, right? In America, we just toss it in the recycle bin. Not in Japan. In Japan, you take off they call them PET bottles. I don't know if that's the technical term for them in America, but in Japan, call them PET bottles. You take the PET bottle lid, separate container. Take the um, wrapper label looking thing, separate container. Bottle has to be washed out, cannot be any liquid in it. Water is probably honestly acceptable. Um, and then you put it away. Uh, just the way it is. It was kind of a pain in the ass for a while. It still is kind of a pain in the ass. So basically, uh, if it's plastic, it goes in a plastic container. Um, you're probably supposed to sort it out in some way. It's all plastic to me. If it's not plastic or burnables, it's one of those two for me. So basically, there's burnables, and then there's glass, big objects, newspaper. Why newspaper isn't burnable, I couldn't tell you. I don't use newspaper, so it's all burnable to me. Burnable plastic or cans. Most of the cans that I have, see, I have one here. No, I don't. Are the canned coffee, which is delicious and extremely addicting because it's small and they're delicious. Um, and they're pretty cheap. It's like $1 for a can. So yeah, so even if you can't read Japanese, you can pretty much figure out what everything is. So you have that little symbol, which is basically for the cap. Conveniently, most things in Japan have pictures for barbarian Westerners like myself that can't fully read Japanese yet. That one I just associate with the plastics. So it's basically like anything with that symbol goes in a bag. Anything with burnable symbol or anything that I know is burnable that won't emit toxic fumes goes in the burnable containers. In Japan, the plastic containers must be clear and see-through. The burnable containers or the burnable bags, they have designated bags for them. They're basically they're opaque more or less. I mean, you can still see them, but it's not like but they're not like completely transparent. There's uh, some film on them. I don't know what it is. But basically they have red writing all over them, so they're pretty much impossible to miss. But anything that's burnable goes in there. Uh, as far as like containers of milk, they don't have plastic containers. They have paper containers. So like what you would see if you ever took the proficiency test or any testing in school, how they gave us those little baby bitch milk containers. Those That's basically the material that almost everything here is made out of. So what you're what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to completely unravel a thing, wash it out, so it's basically more or less flat, and then you put it in the burnable containers. There cannot be anything that's not burnable on it. If there's something that's not burnable, you must take it off, disconnect it, rip it off, whatever, and then separate it. Recycling is a pain in the ass, but it's it's worth it for how incredibly clean it is here. It's nice to walk down the street and not see cigarette butts littering the ground everywhere. So that's cool. I'll probably segue into language next, maybe. So if you're going to visit Japan, or if you're going to live in Japan, or even visit Japan, there's a couple key phrases to know so you don't seem like a completely ignorant barbarian Westerner. Is probably the phrase that I'm going to coin for most of these videos. But so in the morning, it's Ohayo gozaimasu. Oh hi yo. So like the state in America, and then gozaimasu. Gozaimasu makes pretty much everything formal, more or less. Um, And you say that usually up until about 10 a.m. If you say Ohio gozaimasu after 10 a.m., you'll get some stares. But it's usually just because the Japanese wake up at like the ass crack of dawn. So if you're saying good morning at 10 a.m., that they usually associate that with, oh, you're just a lazy bastard who just got out of bed at 10 in the morning. From about 10 a.m. or 11 a.m., basically, the general rule is just kind of just follow what people say to you. Um, but anyways, from 10 a.m. to about whenever it gets dark, usually. So obviously, because the Earth moves, that varies by day to day and season to season. But it's konnichiwa from about 10 till dark or 11 till dark, depending on where you're at. Um, and then once it's dark, you say konbanwa, which means good night, konnichiwa, good afternoon, ohayo gozaimasu, good morning. Pretty self-explanatory, obviously. Even if you just say those, you're pretty much good to go. Um, Thank you is arigato gozaimasu, more gozaimasu. Uh, if you just say arigato, some of the Japanese will cut you off right after you say arigato. So even if you're trying to be polite, they'll kind of just cut you off just because they may or may not assume that you don't know that, or that you don't know how to be polite in formal Japanese. Um, let's see, so greetings. Uh, you're welcome is do itashimashite. Do itashimashite. If you see like a MASU or DESU, the U is almost always silent. I hear some people pronounce it. I was always taught not to pronounce the su part of it. So like desu is actually just des, and masu is just mas. Why that is, couldn't tell you. I'm sure it's some sort of dialect thing. So doitashimashite means you're welcome. Uh, Another pretty key and helpful one, especially just for seeming like you're considered, even if you're actually not, um, is daijobu. Daijobu means it's okay or no problem, more or less. The Japanese society is a very apologetic society, so they pretty much will apologize for almost anything. It usually translates to sorry for inconveniencing you in some way. Um, as Americans, I found that most Americans aren't really apologetic for anything, even if it is their fault. So it's pretty. I don't know. I wouldn't really say it's good, but it's not really bad like America. I don't know. It takes getting used to for like apologizing and bowing for everything. Um, is what it is. There are, if you want to learn more like vocab, like if you're gonna visit and there's like specific vocab that you want to learn, there's some vocab sheets on Amazon for like $6.50, and there's also grammar sheets on there too for the same price, but it's made by the same company. I have them in my book bag. I just have like going to go get them. They're pretty helpful though because they have the counting system, which is also incredibly intensive because with counting it varies by what the object is. So there's different ones for flat objects, for round objects, for children, for animals, for small animals, blah blah blah, so on and so forth. But the nice thing is that in Japanese, the sounds are 99% of the time going to be the same no matter what. So like in America, you have night and night. Which night am I talking about? Am I talking about the nighttime, or am I talking about like the knight in shining armor? You don't know. But in Japanese, that really doesn't exist. The most difficult to guess is just with the intonations. So like, I'm probably gonna screw this up, but for hashi, hashi, what is it? I think it's hashi means bridge, and hashi means chopsticks. Uh, I can't really tell when people say it. But most things in Japanese are based off context. So so if you're not standing on a bridge or you're not talking about a bridge, you can pretty much guess that if someone says hashi, they're talking about chopsticks. Especially if you're at a dinner table, at restaurants, at the at the conveni, and the guy's waving chopsticks at you, saying, "Oh, hashi desu ka?" or something like that. Pretty much figured out from that. Um, as far as helpful language goes, I mean, it kind of depends on what you're gonna do. If you're gonna live here, obviously you're gonna start learning Japanese whether you want to or not. If you're gonna visit, um, base it off of what you're gonna do when you're visiting. Like if you want to go sightseeing and you don't know where you're at, look up most of the uh, directional words and whatnot. I mean, I can obviously list them all, but it'll turn into like a 4 hour video. I'm trying to cut back on these. But if you guys don't mind the longer videos, obviously just let me know. Um, I should probably plan out some of these because I kind of just turn the camera on and start talking. So whatever comes out is what's going to be in the video. One, because I have fat fingers and it's impossible to try and you know edit stuff out on the YouTube app. Um, let's see what else. Tips and tricks. If you're gonna come, try to book your flights in advance. They get pretty pricey, especially if you're doing round trips. Uh, Especially if you're doing the round trips like a week in advance. Probably not gonna get a good price. If you use this app called Kayak, Kayak, it'll basically give you the lowest price out there for whatever your flight you want or hotel or even package deals. Um, but that it's not always accurate because when I was booking my flight, it said a handful of times, "Oh, this flight is no longer available," because it only really updates it every like I think it's hour and a half or 2 hours or something like that. So especially if there's like one seat left, probably not available anymore. Um, I'm sure you could. I'm sure you could get it for cheaper, like uh, if you book it to like city to city, but that's probably going to be a gigantic pain in the ass. So if it's like an extra $100, just go with what Kayak wants, because it books everything at once for you. So like for my trip, mine was Cleveland Hopkins to Toronto, then Toronto to Tokyo, or Toronto to Haneda, Tokyo, and then Haneda, Tokyo to Okayama Airport. So if I had to book all those separately, that'd be a gigantic pain in the ass. Plus, I couldn't see. All right, so this plane leaves at this time. I have this long layover. With Kayak, it kind of just books it all at once for you, and it'll show you the whole trip itinerary for uh, round trip if you book round trip or one way like I booked because obviously you don't know when I'm coming back officially. So there's no point in booking a round trip ticket. Let's see. Hotels, kayaks, or at least for out of the country kayaks, probably the best for hotels, just because one they compare everything for you. But little U.S. tip: if you're going to get a hotel in America, use Hotels.com. Is that it? I think that's it. Basically, there's a hotel site where you don't know what hotel you're staying at, but you can select the star amount. So like 3 star, 4 star, 5 star, 2 star, 1 star, and if you want a general area, then you can select the general area, and then it'll give you a bunch of hotels uh, in that immediate area, and they're usually dirt cheap because one, you don't know which one you're staying at, and two, it's usually just like and get rid of rooms. I did that for my interview, and I got a $140 hotel room for like $60 or something like that. So it was incredibly cheap. So that's helpful. What else? There's certain times a year not to travel. Like right now during Golden Week is probably the most popular time to travel, just because with Golden Week there's a bunch of holidays that more or less fall right in a row, or they fall kind of consecutively. Um, but most people end up getting the whole week off, or they take the whole week off, even if there's like, call it Monday. Cause I have to work Monday and Friday, but I don't work. I didn't work last Friday. I don't work Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So I could have used vacation days and just taken a week off, but not a whole lot of point to it. Especially because with everyone traveling right now, it's going to be really expensive and really crowded to travel anywhere. Obviously, besides my like immediate city. Um, Video's coming up in 20 minutes, so I'll probably cut it short. And if I think of anything, I'll just post like a little separate bonus video for you. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it as far as what I can think of for tips and tricks for visiting Japan. It's just kind of the general polite language. Oh, actually, eating. Uh, do not put your chopsticks in your rice. So, chopsticks. This is curry cup noodle, which is freaking delicious. So do not put your chopsticks in like that, because that is used at funerals and whatnot. So that basically signifies death. If you want to put your chopsticks somewhere, you can rest them on the lid like that. The easiest, safest way of not getting looked at or yelled at too. Even I haven't had that yet, just because I knew not to do it. Uh, just put it on your plate, like face down, like that. Basically, do not stick them up into something like that. There's some sushi etiquette. I really don't know what's actually practiced in here, because you can go on YouTube and look up, sushi etiquette, and you'll get like 15 different videos which are completely separate from each other, and all of them are telling you to do different things. I don't know what the hell's correct. I don't eat sushi, so I'm definitely gonna try sushi here just because it's in Japan and it's sushi capital. In America, the couple times that I've tried sushi, I've gotten ill from it. Whether I just can't handle fish on my stomach, or if it's just because it's sushi in Ohio. There's really no open bodies of water near Ohio besides Lake Erie, and that's full of syringes and condoms. So yeah. Um, I don't know what else. I kind of want to keep talking, but I don't know about what. Plus, it's coming up on 23 minutes, so I think I'll just cut it here for now. And if I think of anything else, like I said, I'll post a little bonus video. So, really don't know what to talk about next week, unless something like incredible happens. Actually, no. During one of my classes, these kids just came up behind me and just started like rubbing my shoulders. Um, I don't know. It's kind of weird that they thought it was the absolute funniest thing in the entire world. So really couldn't tell you why, but they're they're pretty good at it too. I don't know if they're used to giving their parents massages or what, but I haven't had a massage ever, so it was pretty awesome. Yeah, so I'll cut it here. Let's see. Let me know what you want me to talk about next week, or the following week, or whenever. If there's like a specific topic that you want to know about, post it in the comments below, or when I post it on Facebook, post it on my Facebook uh, video comment section, whatever it is. So if you want to keep following me, link to nothing is in the description. Yeah, just press the subscribe. Just subscribe to me. You'll get notifications whenever I post these. It'll usually be on Saturdays. Usually, in case I forget, which I did yesterday, like I said at the beginning of the video. So sorry about that. In case any of you were waiting on pins and needles for my videos, sorry again. Yeah, let me know in the comment section what you want me to talk about. If there's a specific topic that you want to talk about, or if you just want to, arrange a meeting or something like that, I'd be more than happy to show you around, or at least give you some tips. Or if you're Japanese and watching this and you want to learn English, let me know. I'll help out. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will see you next week. Unless I post a bonus video, then I'll see you whenever I post that. I won't put some sort of schedule to those, just because it'll be whenever I happen to think of something cool to talk about. Then I'll just film it and post it. Most of those will be probably pretty short too, unless I go off on a tangent and it's going to be another 25-minute video like this one is. So, like I said, thanks for watching. Enjoy your Sunday by the time this will be posted. Actually, it's probably Sunday right now there because it's 13 hours ahead. But I'll stop rambling now, and thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.